Hello, and welcome again to Stage 2 at NBC in California. Just a great big empty room, about half the size of a football field, with barren rafters and dismal walls, but waiting for the magic of television that will turn it into the setting for another classic story. Tonight, for example, our stage becomes a little corner of New England. And we're going back to the turn of the century for a visit with Louisa May Alcott's immortal Little Men. We all remember the 4 fun-filled March sisters in Little Women. Perhaps the best known of them all was tomboyish Jo. And in Little Men, we meet Jo again, grown up with a house full of children. Not her own children, but other people's children, sent to her because they need her love and understanding. Into this warm and secure world wanders a hungry, ragged little street urchin named Dan. Dan has had to work and fight for every scrap of his food. He can't remember ever having had a family, and he's never even seen a school before. What happens when he gets to Plumfield is... but you'll find out for yourselves. Joining us in tonight's cast of Little Men is that wonderful performer, Fernando Lamas, as Professor Fritz Bhaer. And the little boy, Dan, is played by Bobby Crawford. As for Jo, well, tonight I'm going to play Jo. And just as soon as I can get out of these clothes and travel back some 50 or 60 years, our story will begin. All right, who'll be my partner? How about you, George?
Oh, do I have to, Mrs. Joe, please?
Come on, Stuff, you'll do you good.
Jack, will you please stop calling him Stuffy? His name is George.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I don't care if he calls me Napoleon, as long as I don't have to dance.
Oh, Stuffy. George, dancing is fun, isn't it, Tommy?
I guess so, if you don't have to do it with the girls.
Boys, now listen to me. The dance at Miss Collingswood's school is less than a week away. And we promised we'd go, didn't we?
That's because Stuffy said they had good eats.
Yes, they do. They have very good eats. But you've got to dance with the girls. Now, I'll dance with George. The others will please select a partner and bow to him.
Come on. Have I told you, William? You dance divinely.
Oh, Mr. Ford, I do believe you're joshing me. Ow! Mrs. Joe, Tommy keeps kicking me in the shins.
Well, get your big feet out of the way, will ya?
It's wonderful, boys. Just wonderful.
You're the girl, so I'm supposed to lead, aren't I? I don't know. I don't even know what leading is. Well, it's like staring, I guess. Well, stare.
Dinner! You've already eaten. Now keep it up, boys. You're doing splendidly. Just splendidly. There now. That wasn't so bad, was it?
Mrs. Joe, now can we have the pillow fight?
Oh, no, it's much too early. Let's change partners and try it again.
Here. Do I hear mutiny below deck?
Tell Mrs. Joe we don't have to dance again.
Yeah,
You want to
No. Listen now. Of course you have to learn how to dance. How else can you become educated gentlemen, eh? Now, listen. You do as you're told right now. Come on.
Jack, you start
Come
the
on.
gramophone. Choose your partners. We'll all try it again. Uncle Fritz and I will lead the way.
Now, Joe, please.
Fritz, they're watching.
Joe, I have no time for that now. I have papers to mark. Besides, I dance very badly.
You dance beautifully.
Yes. 7 left feet and the grace of a bow-legged rhinoceros.
And you're going to dance.
And I'm going to dance. Madame Bhaer?
Do you like dancing? What kind of dancing? Like Mrs. Joe's doing. With girls. I don't even like girls. Let's go see how the chickens are doing. Okay.
You know, now that you mention it, you do dance somewhat like a rhinoceros.
Uh-huh. And I was just about to say that I was dancing with the most beautiful woman in the world.
A very graceful rhinoceros, of course.
Well, that's different. Madame, you are beautiful.
Just beautiful?
Ravishingly beautiful. Breathtakingly beautiful.
Yes. Jack, what happened?
What's wrong, Mrs. Joe? Listen.
It's in the barn. Teddy, what is it? What is it?
Uncle Fritz, we got a crook. He was going to steal a chicken.
I wasn't either, Fritz. It's only a boy.
Teddy, let him up.
Let him up.
Yes, let him up. You too, Dickie.
Boy, he sure got strong feet. You should have seen him, Uncle Fritz. He was going to steal a chicken in the
I wasn't
cow.
either. I wasn't going to steal anything.
Oh, yeah? Then why were you here?
Never mind, boys.
I was going to boil some eggs. That's all I was going to do.
Sure. Yeah.
Listen, all of you, back to the house, eh? Right now.
Okay.
Come on.
Come on now.
Mrs. Joe and I will talk things over with the young man.
That's a good one. Borrow some eggs.
Yeah, I'll bet. I don't know about that, but he sure got strong feet.
All right, Dickie, come on. Young man, suppose you tell me your name now.
Yeah, what for? So you can tell a cop?
No one said anything about the police.
Oh, boy, them monkeys weighed a ton. What do you feed them anyway?
Latin and algebra. Very heavy subjects.
Fritz, I don't think he's in the mood for jokes.
Ah, I see. Well, now, let me try it in a different way. I am Professor Frederick Bhaer, known as Uncle Fritz. This is my wife, Jo. Together, we run Plumfield School for Boys. We have a maidservant named Hannah, and on cold winter mornings, my left knee aches miserably. Now, in exchange for that priceless information, you think you can tell me your name now?
It's Dan.
Just Dan? There must be more to it than that.
Okay, it's Abraham Lincoln. You like that better?
Well, now, tell me, Mr. Lincoln, why did you want the eggs?
Why, so I could learn to juggle and go in the circus. What did you think?
It couldn't be because you were hungry.
What, me hungry? Why, after the meal I just ate with Teddy Roosevelt? Oh, we're like this, you know.
Oh, well, any friend of Teddy Roosevelt's is a friend of ours. Now tell me, would you like to join us for dinner? Mrs. Bhaer and I were just about to begin.
But Fritz, I think that's a wonderful idea. Why, we couldn't possibly finish that big dinner all alone.
No. How about it, Dan?
I don't take handouts.
A handout? Joe, would we offer a thing like that?
Well, of course not. Why, you'd be our guest, Mr. Lincoln.
Our honored guest.
It ain't Lincoln, it's Baker.
Dan Baker? Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep you company while you eat.
Well, thank you, Dan. Thank you very much.
Stop drooling, Stuffy. You'll get my floor all wet.
What's all the food for, Hannah?
Yeah, you keep your nose out of it. Mind your own business.
Jack Ford says food is Stuffy's business.
Huh? Well, he's got a pretty good business going there, too.
Couldn't be from Mrs. Joe and Uncle Fritz. They already ate. You mean they're gonna have 2 dinners? Golly!
Hannah, do you know our young friend here was with the carnival?
Wow.
Yeah, sure, I fed the elephants.
Well, when you finish your dinner, come on out to the kitchen. Got a small elephant out there you can feed.
Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead, join us.
Dan, you never did tell us where your home is.
That's all right.
Well, where is it?
I ain't got one. Now are you happy?
Never mind, Hannah, never mind. Go ahead, Dan. Please eat.
Fresh, young monkey.
Hannah's coming. Hi, Hannah.
What are you doing so near the cookie jar again, Stuffy?
Me? Just standing is all.
Then how come your pocket got so lumped out all of a sudden?
My pocket?
Mhm.
What pocket? It's only a couple of cookies, Hannah, and he gets awful hungry.
Oh, I guess he does. Well, now I'll tell you, Stuffy. Cookies taste better when you have a raw egg to suck with them. Right, Dickie?
Right. Gee, thanks a lot, Hannah.
You're a good boy, Stuffy.
Yeah. Good night, Hannah.
Night, Stuffy.
See you later, Hannah.
You bet.
Say one thing, that Hannah sure is a good cook. What's wrong? Aren't you too hungry?
Oh, yes, we're quite hungry.
Just that we are so interested in your travels. Now tell me, what did you think of Independence Hall? Huh?
That's in Philadelphia.
Never been there, but I'm going someday.
Sure you are. We should all go and see all those historic monuments. Now, for example, Bunker Hill.
Or the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, I've seen that lots of times.
Now tell us about the Statue of Liberty. Now tell me, is it very large?
Sure is. And you know something? It's green.
No.
Yeah. Now, when I was a kid, it wasn't so green. But it's sure green now. Why, the greenest statue I ever seen.
Well, that's very enlightening. Isn't it, Joe?
Yes, and very geographic.
Oh, boy. I am stuffed. Well, I couldn't eat another bite. Well, guess it's time to be going.
Dan, I wonder if you could do us a favor.
Who, me?
Most of our boys have never seen the Statue of Liberty. Do you suppose you could stay overnight and tell them about it in the morning?
I haven't seen it, huh?
They don't even know it's green.
Well, how do you like that?
Will you stay?
Okay. Well, I'll bunk out in the barn.
Oh, you'll do no such thing. We have a large house.
And many extra beds.
You do, huh?
Yes, we do.
Yes, Miss Bhaer?
Hannah, Mr. Baker has agreed to spend the night. There's an extra bed in Dickie's room, isn't there?
Yeah. Okay, come along, young man.
I don't want to cause some trouble.
No trouble at all.
If you don't do what I tell you, there's going to be lots of trouble. Now, come on.
Go ahead, Dan. I'll be up in a minute to say goodnight.
Okay. And, thanks for the grub.
Well,
Poor child was starving.
you know, we've learned quite a bit for a start. His name is Dan Baker. His home is obviously New York. That ought to give the police something to start.
Fritz, you wouldn't.
So I have to tell the police he clearly has run away from something.
Not the police. Why can't we keep him here until we find his parents or someone?
You can't keep every dog, cat, or runaway boy.
Why can't we?
Well, because it isn't legal, that's why. No, I must tell the police. We have no right to keep him here.
We don't have to give him to the police. Tell them to find his family, but in the meantime, we'll keep him here.
Joe.
Please.
Oh, Joe, what can I do when you look at me that way? All right, go up to your lost sheep.
And you'll tell the police he's going to stay?
I'll tell the police.
I love you very much.
Well, naturally. I'm such a determined man. Very determined indeed. Paddy. That's what I am. Paddy.
Yeah, that ought to do it. Don't fight it like that. Stay away from that window.
What?
It's one of the main rules here, fresh air at night.
Hey, where are you going with my clothes?
Well, I ought to burn them.
Burn them?
But I don't think I'll ever wash them clean.
Well, you take it easy. 'Cause I don't want to spend the rest of my life in this thing.
Some folks don't know when they're well off. Now, you get to bed.
You think you're pretty tough, don't you?
When I was younger, I used to eat boys like you alive. Now I finally got to fricassee 'em a little. Now get!
Okay.
My dear. Boy like you running around without even a toothbrush.
Got a dozen toothbrushes. Just traveling light, that's all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're already in bed.
Oh, Miss Bhaer, I got to wash these tonight before they dirty the whole house.
Well, ain't that bad?
Well, that's bad enough.
All right, Hannah.
Night, Miss Bhaer.
Good night, Hannah. Hannah's wonderful, isn't she?
Yeah, if you like buzzsaws.
Oh, she grumbles a lot, but the boys are crazy about her.
They'd have to be. Crazy, I mean. Hey, tell me, do they all wear stuff like this?
Well, of course. Isn't that what you wore at home?
Well, you see, where I come from, it's awful hot for stuff like this. You know, on a plantation? Yeah, it gets awful hot on a plantation. Especially in Chicago.
I see. You lived with your parents on a plantation in Chicago.
Well, not exactly with my parents. It was with my grandfather, only he died.
I'm sorry, Dan.
That's okay.
And after your grandfather died, you went back to live with your mother and father.
No, never had a mother. At least not so as I remember, anyhow.
And your father?
Oh, he died too. Got killed, sort of.
How awful.
Oh, he didn't mind. He died being a hero in the war. You know, with Teddy Roosevelt and them guys.
At San Juan Hill?
Yeah, that's where he got it. Right in the head. Excuse me! Hey, Miss Kitty! Look out! Hey, look out! Hey! I'll catch you. Hey!
You must be awfully proud of your father.
Yeah. What was that, anyway?
That? Oh, you mean the pillow fight. We allow the boys to have one a week. We think it does them good.
You do, huh? Boy, this sure is a squirrely school.
We think it's a very good school.
Huh, that's well. Who ever heard of a good school?
Schools are very important, Dan. Not just for learning how to read and write. We teach other things at Plumfield. How to grow into a fine, honest man. Learning to love your neighbor. Sleep well, little man. You have a long way to go.
Little man. All right. I'll prove he's a hero. You just wait.
What are you looking for? A letter from the president?
Something better than that. Now there. I guess that proves it. Gosh, a medal. Now, if my father wasn't a hero, how come they give him a medal?
Hey, you suppose maybe he was a hero?
What do you mean, maybe? That's solid gold. Hey, let me see. Hey, wait a minute.
Take it easy. He's not going to hurt it.
Better not. That's all I gotta say. The Knights of Columbus. Hey, what's the Knights of Columbus? Well, that should give him the medal. Now hand it back. Well, come on.
Hand it back, Billy.
Everybody knows about the Knights of Columbus. They give medals to all the big heroes.
How do we know you didn't steal it?
'Cause I don't steal, that's how you know.
You were gonna steal eggs.
I was going to borrow them.
I'll bet.
How would you like a poke in the nose?
Maybe you'd like to poke me in the nose.
Yeah, maybe I would.
Now, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Now, Dan, keep your left hand higher, eh? This is the way John L. Sullivan does it.
He does?
Yes, he does. Now, Jack, yours is too high, eh? There you are. That's much better. Go ahead. All right, boys. Recess is over. Back to work. Back to work. Dan, I want to talk to you. Mrs. Bhaer says you've decided to stay with us for a while.
Why not? Beats the road, don't it?
Yes, it does. In that case, you better come to the classroom with me, eh?
I'll watch you teach.
Dan, don't you think you should make a little effort to get along with the other boys?
That Jack Ford gives me a swift pain. Thinks he's the big cheese around here.
You know, a little mouse can nibble away at the big cheese. Remember that?
Yeah, I'll remember. Only I ain't a mouse. I'm a full-grown rat.
Chicky!
All right, then. Sit over there, please. Go ahead. Sit down. Silence. If I remember correctly, we were about to attack the village blacksmith. Hmm? Now, who would like to strike the first blow? You mean no volunteers? Very well. Dan, as the newest member of the class, would you like to show them how to read the village blacksmith?
Me?
Yes, yes. It's on page 27 of your reader.
Stupid.
Boys, no talking. Now on, Dan. Look it over. Have you found it?
Yeah, I found it.
All right, stand up. Stand up. We are now going to hear the village blacksmith. Go ahead, Dan.
The Village Blacksmith by Henry Wado. What's so funny?
Boys. He's absolutely right. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. Dan, put your book down. Come out with me a minute outside, eh?
Henry Waddle.
Quack, quack, quack.
Dan, listen to me. Maybe you are not quite ready for the upper form, eh?
The what?
The class I teach. You see, the boys are quite advanced. They would make you feel uncomfortable. Now, if you were to spend some time reviewing the basic fundamentals, then I am sure in a very short while you'd catch up with them.
Yeah, sure.
All right? Come with me, eh?
Well, we have a visitor.
Joe.
Come in, Dan. Boys, you've all met Dan, haven't you?
Hi, Dan.
Dan, I'm sure in a very short while you'll be back across the hall, eh?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Well, there's no point in just standing there. Let's see, where shall we put our new student? How about over here next to Dickie? You two share the same room. Now you can sit next to each other in school. Will that be all right?
Great. Just great.
All right, boys, let's all read together. The
Cat is gray. It is a large gray cat. I like the large gray cat. I give no...
Have you ever seen an alligator?
Mark my words, Professor Bhaer. One of these days there's going to be an explosion.
Huh? I'm sorry, Hannah, I didn't hear you.
Explosion! Jack Fuller and that new boy. Every time they're in the same room, you can see the sparks flying.
Oh, I'm sure if there is an explosion, we'll manage to survive.
Maybe you will. I'm the one that's got to patch up all the bloody noses and black eyes, and there's been a slew of them since that Dan got here. He is the fightingest boy.
He has to fight, Hannah. That's the only way he knows.
It's finished, Hannah.
Say, it looks just fine. Now, so help me, if he does any fighting in that suit, I'm going to skin him alive myself.
Yes, it's a very nice job, if I do say so myself.
Yes, it is. Oh, Joe. Not again, my best suit.
Oh, you haven't worn it in 2 years. Anyway, the ball is tomorrow night.
The ball?
The ball at Miss Collingswood's.
Joe, I'm thinking about tomorrow night.
You
I
can
have
just
to...
stop thinking. You're going to the ball, Dan's going to the ball, and he's going to look beautiful.
In my best suit.
Miss Collingswood, you have so many treasures. Fritz and I were just commenting on them.
Ah, yes. So many lovely things. My dear father, the late Commodore, brought us things of rare beauty from all over the world. Antique jade and jeweled watches. Oh, so many things.
Actually, we were referring to your girls.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, you know the old saying, a boy is yours till he takes a wife, but a girl is yours for the rest of her life.
That's so true. Isn't it, dear?
Hmm? Oh, yes, yes. I was just about to say the same thing myself.
You don't dance very well, do you? How do you expect me to dance if you don't steer? Have you been at Plumfield long? Now you made me lose count again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
You know, we seem to be missing some of our good dancers. Excuse me, please.
Of course, Professor Bhaer, you go right ahead.
Thank you.
Oh, aren't they adorable?
Wait a minute! Wait a minute! What is this? What is it all about? Jack?
I'm sorry, sir. Private matter.
All right, Dan. What is it?
I ain't no stool pigeon.
Very well. We'll settle this back at Plumfield. Meanwhile, all of you remember we are here as guests of Miss Collingswood. Everyone inside now. Come on. Everyone.
I'll fix that guy's wagon. You just wait.
You bet you will.
All right, all right. Now look at you. Now look at you. Your good coat.
Yeah, it's a mess, ain't it? And I suppose Mrs. Joe will be mad.
No, she won't. She'll probably find another one somewhere. Let's go. Hey, boys, boys. Now you know what you have to do. You're supposed to dance with the girls. Now, come on, come on. Come on, come on. Do as you're told. Dan? Dance with the girls. Go ahead, son.
You want to dance?
Careful. Here you are.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think it's going very well, don't you?
Oh,
Yes.
very well indeed.
Don't you just love dancing?
I think it stinks.
Oh, mercy, look at the time. Uh-oh, I know what that means. Oh, my.
We're starved. We haven't eaten for hours.
Now, don't grab. There's plenty enough for all. Mercy, didn't the time to get anything to eat at all?
Welcome cookies in the kitchen. That's a good boy.
Well, that's over for another year. For the most part, I thought the boys behaved very well. Didn't you, Fritz?
Yes, with the exception of that little incident outside.
What happened?
Oh, Dan got in another fight. I never seen a boy struggle so hard against discipline. Well, now,
What could it be at this hour?
There's only one way to find out. Miss Collinsworth.
Oh, I knew you would still be up, so I came right over just as fast as I could.
Well, you're welcome,
Mrs. Bhaer,
but...
Professor Bhaer, I am not one to make false accusations, but one of your boys is a thief.
Miss Collingswood.
That is very difficult to believe.
Oh, I found it difficult too, very difficult indeed. But one of my girls saw the whole thing, mind you. Now, she doesn't know exactly which boy it was, but it was a boy. She's ready to take an oath on it.
Miss Collingswood, our boys are not in the habit of stealing.
Joe, please. What was stolen?
A watch, a very handsome jeweled watch, given to my dear father, the late Commodore, by a very distinguished admirer. It hung on this hook, this very hook, and as you can see for yourself, it is gone.
It could have fallen off.
It was taken off by one of your boys.
All right. Let's ask him. They're all in the kitchen. I'll bring him in.
In the kitchen, after all the food they consumed.
Miss Collingswood.
In the kitchen, indeed.
Miss Collingswood, my husband and I have implicit faith in our boys. We have no locks, no keys. We trust them with everything we own. I'm sure you've made a mistake.
If I have, I shall be the very first to apologize. But if I haven't, well, after the boy has been suitably punished, we will say no more about it. Now, I think that's fair enough, don't you?
All right, boys. Line up, all of you, in front of Miss Collinsworth. Go ahead.
What's the matter, Uncle Fritz?
Come on.
Do we have to dance again?
No, Dickie, no. You just line up there. Joe?
Boys, a watch has been taken from Miss Collingswood's school.
Stolen, really?
Now, I want you to show her that you had nothing to do with it. Turn your pockets out and show her you have nothing to hide.
Stuffy, will you please stop eating?
Well,
But I didn't take it. I swear I didn't. Why, I never even saw it before.
a likely story.
All right, boys. Back to your rooms now. Come on. Come on, back to your rooms. Hurry. Shh. Come on, Dickie.
Mrs. Joe, I didn't take the watch.
Dan, may I please have it?
Uncle Fritz, I swear I didn't take it. Well, tell her I didn't take the watch.
It was in your pocket.
Yes, but I didn't put it there. Why, I don't even know how I got it. Mrs. Joe, please, you gotta believe me.
How can I believe you? How can I?
If you wanted to, you could.
Dan, you go to your room now.
We'll talk about it first thing in the morning.
Oh, Mrs. Joe,
Go to your room, Dan. In the morning, Dan.
yeah.
Miss Collinsworth, I'm awfully sorry.
Well, I do have the watch, so no great harm has been done.
I assure you the boy will be properly punished.
Yes, good. Well, good night, Mrs. Bhaer.
Good night, Miss Collingswood.
This way.
Oh, I've always heard that boys will be boys. I am so glad that I have a school for girls.
Yes, Miss Collins. Good night.
Fritz, why did Dan do it? Why?
I don't know, Angel. I just don't know. Maybe we are doing the wrong thing. Maybe he should be in another kind of a school. Same boys with same backgrounds, similar problems.
I was so sure he'd change. Maybe he does belong somewhere else.
I think so. I'll send a telegram to New York in the morning.
All right, Fritz.
Come on, you miserable skunk. Before I knock your block off.
Well, you don't have to break my arm,
Now,
do
what
ya?
is this?
I'd like to break your neck.
What is it, Billy?
Go on, tell him before I choke it out of you.
Now, what are you doing?
I only did it for him.
One of you two.
You did. You said you wanted to get even with him.
And I would if I can still lick that guy, and don't you forget it.
Billy, what did you do?
He's the one who took the watch.
Billy?
Yeah, and shoved it in Dan's pocket when we were in the kitchen.
For a joke, that's all.
Poor boy.
I didn't think there'd be such a fuss about it. People play jokes on other people all the time.
What I'd like to do, I'd like to break your neck.
For what? I thought you'd be glad. Dan, he's gone, Mrs. Joe.
Dick, please tell me, where did he go?
I don't know, but he's gone and I'll never see him again.
Dan! Dan!
Joe. Joe, it's no use. He's gone.
My one true friend.
It is a cat. It is a large, gray...
Well, if this isn't a pleasant sight to warm the cockles of a gentle heart. Cozy fire, shelter from the cruel night, and, Jippo, do my senses deceive me, or do I detect the delicious aroma of food?
What you cooking, kid?
Mickey's.
Ah, Mickey's. Did ever a word ere more bespeak the very essence of nectar and ambrosia?
Is that all you got, potatoes?
Chipper, my lad, we have not as yet been invited to partake of the lad's hospitality.
Yeah, you can have some.
Oh.
And I'll plenty.
Graciously invited and most gratefully accepted. Let me introduce myself. I am Con Cork, citizen of the world, and this is my friend and associate Jippo. A healthy lad, not very bright.
One of these days I'm going to cut your big tongue out.
I'm sure that you will. And your name, my boy?
Dan.
Oh, Dan, your fine name, straight from the Bible itself.
Where did you steal the spuds, kid?
They fell out of a wagon
With a little nudge?
all by themselves. The man even said I could keep them.
Oh, there you are, you see, Chipper. Now, Daniel is an honest lad. Perhaps he even, purchased our dinner.
You mean you might have some money?
Well, it would do no harm to look. Now, I think.
Oh!
Daniel, my boy, resistance is quite useless in the face of such unseemly odds. Conserve your strength. Husband your resources for a more propitious moment.
All he had, a book.
And you better give it back.
We will, my boy, all in good time. The books are most educational, and one never knows what may be learned from a volume of even such a elementary nature.
I don't know why I hang around you. All you ever do is talk, and all I ever do is don't understand you.
You hang around, as you put it, my good Jippo, because I am your brains. Now, will you kindly just allow me to read my book? The Plumfield School, Sycamore Lane, Middletown. It has a lovely sound, eh, Jippo?
Yeah.
It speaks of wealth and comfort and ease.
Hey, maybe he's a rich kid and he run away.
No!
We could hold them for ransoms, huh, Cork? $100, easy.
But I'm not a rich kid. I'm a roader.
You're a rich kid, and we're gonna hold you for ransoms.
Chipper, my brainless one, think for a moment. Wealthy boys of Daniel's age are not concerned with books about large gray cats to whom they give milk. They've progressed to Latin and the finer arts, haven't they, Daniel?
Yeah, I suppose.
Suppose you tell us what you know about Plumfield School.
I don't know nothing. I was only there a week. They caught me swiping eggs and they took me in.
Oh, a noble gesture, reeking with Christian charity. And why, may I ask, did you leave this Eden of peace and comfort?
Because they said I swiped a watch. And I didn't. I didn't swipe nothing.
Daniel, my boy, in this world there are two kinds of people, those who have and those who take. As the fates would have it, we are the takers.
Yeah, but there's nothing at Plumfield worth taking honest.
Never taken anything honestly in my life, but craftily. Ha-ha, that's a different tale. There is a fortune behind every door, a treasure in the meanest of mansions. And if you will forgive the pun, Plumfield sounds ripe for the plucking.
Oh, would you like to sit around and talk about it for a few months?
My dear Jippo, do please realize that the middle town is a full day's journey away. Let us relax and discuss a plan of action with our good friend Daniel.
Mr. Cork, why does it have to be Plumfield? Why, it's just a crummy old school.
Oh.
You never saw such beat-up old silver. And if Mrs. Joe's jewelry was worth anything, why, she'd lock it up instead of leaving it just lay around. There must be a million better places to rob easy.
You think he's right?
I think it sounds increasingly attractive. Silver and jewels.
Yeah, but they're old. Everything's old.
And Daniel, I have an uncommon veneration for the aged, especially the aged silver and jewels. Now, with you to show us the way...
I ain't gonna show you nothing.
Look, you little punk.
Jippo, please. Daniel is young. He has to be led, not bullied.
I don't like stealing.
Now, Daniel, if Plumfield is to be robbed, why not take your rightful place in the enterprise? Show us the way for a handsome share of the treasure.
You're gonna do it anyway, huh?
Just as surely as tomorrow's sun will sink into the western sky.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with you.
Oh, well spoken, my lad, well spoken indeed. Now let's relax in the arms of the great god Morpheus. Let us dream of full stomachs and the delightful adventure which awaits us upon the morrow. And now, my friends, I bid you good night.
Do you understand that stuff?
No, not very well.
Me neither. And that's all I get. Day after day after day.
Joe, I'll be right up.
Mrs. Joe?
Yes, Dickie. Now stop fidgeting. Do you want to get stuck?
No, ma'am, Mrs. Joe.
Yes, Dickie?
You suppose Dan will ever come back, ever?
I don't know, Dickie. Nobody does.
Stuffy said he probably fell in a well and Tommy Banks hit him.
Dickie, we mustn't carry tales.
I wasn't carrying tales. I was just telling you what happened.
Oh, I see.
You don't suppose he fell in a well, do you?
I'm sure he didn't. There now. Off to bed.
I sure hope he didn't fall in a well. That'd be awful.
Good night, Dickie.
Good night, Mrs. Joe. Uncle Fritz, Stuffy said Dan probably fell in a well. Good night, Mrs. Joe.
Good night.
Poor child. He's so worried about Dan. That's all he talks about. In fact, that's all any of them talk about. What happened to Dan and when he's coming back.
I got a letter from the New York police. They didn't even know he was gone until they got our letter.
You mean he's just been wandering around?
They just couldn't find him. He has no family. His mother died when he was very little. His father died 2 months ago.
Not at San Juan Hill.
No. In a New York hospital. Acute alcoholism. Another thing. They suggest we keep him here with their blessings. But I think of the way we treated that boy.
Oh, it wasn't your fault, darling. I was the one who didn't believe him.
No, I should have known it. I should have sensed it. I could only have one more chance with him.
He's just got to come back. We've got to find him.
Mrs. Joe?
Yes, Teddy?
Dickie won't turn out his light. I'm scared!
Go to bed, Teddy. We're coming right up.
Yes, ma'am.
Two down and one to go.
That's the hall light. It stays on all night.
What are we waiting for? Let's go. Try any funny business. I'll break both of your arms.
Yes, sir.
Hey, look out! Where's the silver? Where's the silver kid?
It's over in the dining room. Right over.
Not so fast, my boy, not so fast. Clumsy fool! I couldn't help it. I tripped over something.
It's over this way.
Dinner?
Why don't we just go round to the front door and ring the bell?
Chipper, what's gotten into you? It's not my fault. Somebody's foot keeps getting in my way.
I got it now.
Daniel, I'm beginning to wonder.
Oh, it's okay, Mr. Cork. I got it figured out now. It's right through that door.
What door?
This door! Come on! Come on, here. Get out of it. That's it, now. Well done, Plumfield!
Uncle Fritz, they were going to take everything in the house.
We showed them, didn't we?
Yeah, we sure did. Dan!
All right, Dickie, we have plans for reunions later. Now we have to remove our prisoners, eh?
Let's lock them in the barn.
In a feed bin.
Fine, this is exactly what we're gonna do. Teddy, remove the net. The butterfly has been caught. Gentlemen, to the barn! Come on. That's it. Hold them. Come on, boys.
You and your big words, huh?
Mrs. Joe, I didn't take the watch.
We know all about the watch, Dan. Don't say a word.
You know I didn't take it?
We should have known all along.
Yeah, but how did it get in my pocket?
We'll talk about it later. Right now, we're just so glad to have
I
you
heard
back.
it now, honey. Did you call me Mrs. Bhaer? Well,
Hello, Hannah.
so you've come home, huh? Well, now maybe everybody won't be crying themselves to sleep. I'll turn down your bed and open the window.
Well, the prisoners are locked up for the night.
You ought to see him, Mrs. Joe. They're all tied up like a couple of turkeys. Good turkeys?
Joe, did you tell Dan the good news?
Not yet. I was too excited.
I got a letter from New York. You're gonna stay with us from now on.
Did the letter say anything about his father?
What difference does that make?
Who cares about his father?
Well, that's a very good question. It's all about his father.
Uncle Fritz?
I should tell him. They have a right to know.
Fritz?
It's all right. Now, let's see what the letter says, huh? Joseph Baker, the father of Daniel Baker, was killed leading a charge on San Juan Hill. He was awarded a citation of honor by the Knights of Columbus for valor far beyond the call of duty, a fitting reward for a man who sacrificed his life for his country.
Golly, the Knights of Columbus.
All right, boys. Up to bed. It's long past your bedtime.
Good night, Mrs. Joe.
Good night.
Good night, Mrs. Joe.
Good night.
Good night, Fritz. Dan? Aren't you coming?
Dan, better wash your face.
Yes, Mrs. Joe. Thanks, Uncle Fritz.
Good night, son.
I would have liked anyway, even if you didn't have a father.
Well, home at last. Oh, that little man.
Fritz, I think you're wonderful.
Well, naturally. All men are wonderful.
Well, that was the story of little men, all of them neatly tucked away for the night. You can be sure that whatever became of Dan when he grew up, he always remained a credit to Joe and the professor and the boys who had become his friends. And now, we're back where we started. The set's gone, the stage a big empty room again. The actors disappeared. My warmest thanks to Fernando Lamas, Bobby Crawford, and all the other members of the cast for their fine performances. Next week, we'll be back to make this stage come alive again and mix our magic with that of Mark Twain's immortal story, The Prince and the Pauper. And to quote Mark Twain, it's a tale for young people of all ages. It will star Gig Young, Richard Ney, and a wonderfully versatile young actor, Peter Laser, who will play both the Prince and the Pauper. Until then, this is Shirley Temple wishing each of you a fond good night.